Good evening. Welcome to the January 14th meeting of the Waterboro Selectmen. Pardon us for running late. We had an executive session that ran over. If everyone would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our first order of business tonight is a public hearing on a proposed amendment to the Subdivision Ordinance. Planning Board's been working on this for, let's say, 6 to 8 months. Do we have anyone from the public that would like to speak? Mr. Prescott.
Well, thank you. I'm Tony Prescott. I'm on the planning board, and I'd like to draw the selectmen's attention to page 17, 9.4.2. This is a section that talks about a representative of the planning board granting waivers. What this clause does not say is who appoints the representative, when in the process these waivers are granted, and does the planning board have the right to override those waivers. So we as a planning board made a decision that only the planning board would grant waivers, and we would do it in the public eye. We felt it was very important that the people of this community had a clear understanding of why some projects had to comply with something and other ones didn't.
Could you excuse me? What was that page in reference to?
Page 17.
I think we might be working off, because page 17 for us is cutting and planting.
That's it.
Stormwater management.
If you read down through that, you'll find a representative of the planning board.
Got it.
That's right.
And again, so we decided that only the planning board would grant waivers, and we would do it at regular meetings in the public eye on film. We deemed it important that the community understand why some projects have to comply and other ones do not to certain subjects, as this could easily turn into a segue into other kinds of waivers. Well, so we made the decision to remove that language altogether. And it was, because I have here with me the 1113 document where it shows the representative was removed. As I looked at the very next document, it was 1120, and the one you have before you, at least the one I received on 11.2, it's back in. Planning board never discussed this, and we never consented to it. We made a great change for this community to protect people. We decided that everybody within 500 feet of a property line all the way around would be notified if a project was coming in. We did that specifically so if a project was coming in across the street, you would be notified. That way you could play heads up for the public hearing notices. Then we discovered a butter, by dictionary definition, actually means two properties that touch. So it kind of defeated the purpose of our intent of hooking the people of this community up. So we decided we just won't use a butter. If we don't use a butter at all, then it can't be used against us. It's just not necessary.
Where are you now in the document, Dwayne?
That would be page 4 under definitions. Thank you. Now, if you look back under a butter, like if you go to the ordinance that's in place now and previous to the 1113, you'll see that the definition has changed. Not only was it not taken out at the direction of the planning board, but a change in definition was created that was not consent of the planning board. Everybody good so far?
So are you saying that this document is not the one that was approved by the planning board?
Not as far as I'm concerned, and I will ask the Board of Selectmen to verify everything I'm saying by video. Watch the workshop videos, watch the planning board videos.
But you mean since the planning board voted to approve this document, it's been altered?
Yes, because these are changes that we discussed. When you vote, you say, okay, we agree to the language that's going to be changed. It includes everything that was discussed.
But I mean, the final version that you all voted on.
The final,
This has been
if you watch
changed since then?
well, that's where things went wrong. If you watch the meetings, we had discussions on all of this. So in anywhere you go, the changes we discussed were included in the vote of the language. So this should have been changed out after the vote. I'll also point out is look at the date on that document. It's December 2nd. We had a December 4th public hearing set.
Look at the date on what document?
The last one that was sent to the planning board by email.
Top of this is the planning board 11/20 meeting.
Right, it was sent to the planning board December 2nd. It's where it hit my emails.
It was sent to the planning board or the selectmen?
I got it in my email December 2nd.
It says here that this is the final version approved by vote of the planning board.
On November 20?
Well, okay, I'll tell you what, again, we're back to square one. Watch the videos, because, you know what? I want you to look back at the planning board agendas. Right off the bat, we never knew what we were working on. All you're going to see is final version, final version. Well, what part of it? What article are we working on? We didn't know. Every time we came to a meeting, it was getting blindsided. Well, we did this, we did that. So I'm at home. I got hours in this stuff because I have to start from the beginning again because I don't know what we're working on that night. At one point, the chairman of the board walked up at a meeting, plopped some paperwork down in front of us, and said, "This is what we're working on tonight." The whole process was shaky to begin with.
Dwayne, you voted for these documents that in their condition
If
that
you
they
want-
are right now. You
No,
voted for these
I voted for a
plans.
language change. This is what I voted for.
You voted with the rest of the board unanimously to approve this document.
This document,
This document's a lie. I expected these changes to be in it. So I'm here tonight to get the Board of Selectmen to reconsider this. I don't care whether I voted for it or not. It's called due process.
Oh, wonderful.
We have a chance to change this and make it right. Let's go on.
I think
Let's
if you
go
were
on.
opposed, you should have just voted no.
Let's go on. Let's talk about how we did not want to shut down the trails. And we specifically said, let's take other motorized vehicles out of the definition of streets.
You're asking us to rewrite this document. This public hearing is for this document
This
before
one-
us, which has been approved unanimously by the planning board.
No, I disagree. This is what was approved by the planning board.
no, this is what you voted for yourself.
You know what? No. Everywhere you go, you know what? The decisions of the planning board should have been put in that. We should not have to continually babysit and look back. And that's all we do around here when it comes to the planning board.
Yeah, I'd have to say that this is getting a little unreasonable.
All right.
I think that if you have a problem with what we have before us tonight, that, I mean, we'd be glad to listen to that, but to come in here and malign the planning board and...
I'm not malign, well,
And I guess the town planner.
well, you guys keep telling me that I voted for something I didn't. I voted for, these are what was discussed. This is what was agreed on. It should have been done.
You voted for this. You voted for the final version of this document that we have tonight, that we're having this public hearing on.
Okay, and I'm asking you right now, vote it down, and I'm gonna leave you with this one thought. We never needed a cleanup. We have an ordinance in place that was drafted by the people of this community. I'm about an 8-year member on this board. And I only recall us having 2 appeals of decisions made by that ordinance. Both of them were upheld by the zoning board of appeals. Both of them went to Superior Court and were upheld there. And not only upheld there, came back with a quick decision.
So you're here tonight to recommend that we do not vote to approve this?
Correct. I don't agree. I just think that the process of this whole project, it could have been done better.
Well, it could have been done better with comments from you because I asked you for them 3 times before tonight because you raised considerable concerns at the planning board. And I wrote to you and I copied the selectmen. Let me finish, please. They've seen those requests for your concerns in writing. You did nothing. You're certainly...
Actually, I did.
You're right to-
Actually, I did. I was in contact with the chairman of the board. And I'll also point out that when I brought concerns up to the planning board, I was shut down by the chairman of the board. So this is not new.
And your motions have failed to receive seconds quite often in the planning board.
Most of our stuff was done in workshops. They don't make motions. So, well, you know what? Dwayne, we just subdivided a property for you. Take a good look at that section. instead of no oversight, takes the Board of Selectmen right out of it.
This is irrelevant to the subject.
So,
Yeah, I'm sure it is, Gary, considering you're the one who makes out on this deal.
so
Why should we turn this town over to you?
I think that unless you're going to discuss what we have before us
To
tonight.
start with.
It is before us.
It wasn't my subdivision.
Well, with some subdivision.
It was something that my father had started,
The
the
point,
code enforcement and whatnot.
This isn't
Suggested
appropriate.
a subdivision.
This
We
isn't
didn't need
appropriate
one.
to this public hearing. I'd like to just shut it
well,
down.
why is it not
We have your
appropriate?
comment that you want us to vote this down.
Vote it down,
Right.
or send it back to the board.
Thank you.
And I'd be happy to meet with you at any time to talk about my role in this procedure.
Well, that-
You won't come in and talk to me.
Gary, last time I dealt with you, you stood up in front of the planning board, unannounced, not on the agenda.
Why don't you
and
guys
launched an attack.
Take this
That's
up
what I
after the
expect
meeting.
from
We can meet later. I'd be happy to do that.
VJ, do you have anything you'd like to add to this? Or would you like to just be left out of it? Of the ordinance itself?
I was going to, after the public hearing, when the item came up, I was going to certainly walk you through the process that the planning board used. I think that certainly there are issues that have been raised tonight that could be pointed accusations at me as well. I did the work that the planning board requested of me. The planning board met for at least 6 months on this, and workshop by workshop, page by page, we went through it. I changed everything that they requested to be changed, and then it went to Natalie Burns, the town's attorney, for her review prior to it coming back. She made comments, we made changes based on her comments, and then finalized the document. There was definitely debate. It was not rubber stamped by any means. And Dwayne certainly had the opportunity to raise issues, and they were raised. The planning board did what they did. I don't play a role in that at all, other than providing them the technical information. So that's where we're at tonight. I think, Tim, you were at every meeting, or at least pretty close to every meeting. I don't think that there was anything that you saw or heard that was nothing but whatever the planning board wanted to do, and we went page by page and discussed issue by issue.
Yeah, I was going to say that I'm the liaison from the planning board, and I haven't missed any meetings, and everything to me seemed very professional. And when they got stuck on something, one time we had a hydrologist come in and discuss 100-year floods, 25-year floods. There was a lot of question about that. And just from my side of it, I thought it was all very professional and carefully thought out. Any final rebuttal? Or would anyone else?
You guys know where I stand. I don't like it.
And you want us to vote against it?
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
We have an audience in place that's been working fine for years.
None of you folks are interested in talking about the subdivision ordinance?
The only thing I get to say is we've never lost a court battle on this subdivision regulations that we have today. We've had a couple go to court, but never lost the case, either to the ZBA or to the court system. And why stir up something that will hold up in court?
I think a lot of this was cleaning up the language. Just like in some places it would say the planning board and others it would say the board, that was changed. I think a lot of it was that. One big change was a sunset clause, which we never had. We have subdivisions that were approved 20 years ago that could be built today under those standards 20 years ago. And under this ordinance, that wouldn't happen. It couldn't happen. Under the revised.
I mean, I don't think, if I may, Mr. Chairman, I don't think that the intent by any means was to radically change this ordinance, but was to bring it up to today's standards. I think if you look at the current regulations, the state citations relevant to state law, those state laws don't even exist any longer. So that was part of it, was changing Title 30 to Title 30A, Title 30's been taken off the books. There were things of that sort. There are certain procedures and process, just trying to clean up language and make it fit today's standards. Many of the sections of the ordinance that are in the current ordinance are still in this ordinance. I tried, when presenting it to the planning board, to make it a cleanup and not to disrupt as much of the ordinance as possible that we could keep and continue to use as part of the process. I'd be happy to answer any other questions or any issues, but there was never any intent to sidestep anybody. There was never any intent to provide a document that was not presented to the planning board, and they reviewed it on many, many occasions going along.
Question on that. Is there a discrepancy in this on any of the dates in here?
Any of the dates?
Any of the dates?
Well, there were many, many drafts that were done along the way because of all the changes that we needed to make between planning board wanting changes and then by the end Natalie's request for additional changes based on her comments. So there's been many, many revisions of the ordinance, if that's the kind of date you're talking about.
Well, he raises an issue about dates.
The only date that really matters is the night that they approved it unanimously, which is the date on this document.
Of 11/20, November 20th.
Correct. That's the final version that was
Correct.
approved unanimously and sent to the selectmen.
Correct.
Dwayne?
Well, thank you. All right, so 11:20. Where was the discussion to put representative back into that paragraph? It was out on 11/13. I have this one right here. It was out on 11/13. It came back in at 11:20. The planning board never consented to that. I also want the Board of Selectmen to take a very good look at the section on the release of guarantee. Right now, it's the Board of Selectmen and the planning board to release hundreds of thousands of dollars. It ensures us quality builds in this community. Even MMA has set a precedent that boards should release this money, not just one person. Read that clause. It takes the Board of Selectmen out and it takes the planning board out. So there was substantive changes done to this. It wasn't just a cleanup.
I do not agree with that either. One man shouldn't do it.
If I may, I have it. Let me first say on 9.4.2, which has been discussed, the current ordinance, which is in front of you, does say the board or its representative may. That would suggest that its representative can't do anything without the board's directive. And what it's basically saying is rather than having a planning board chairman or a planning board member dealing with an applicant, it would be the board's representative. In this case, it's usually the code enforcement officer who's the certified representative of the community. Relevant to...
But in this situation, it could be a forester also.
It could be a forester because it's cutting of
Cutting and
trees.
planting, so.
That's correct. In regards to the last point that Dwayne just made, he did make it at the planning board, was very passionate about that particular issue, and the board asked me to look into it. So on November 21, I sent Natalie Burns an email which says at last night's board meeting we made final edits to the proposed subdivision regulations and one board member raised a question that was requested you respond to. In Article 10, Performance Guarantees, it indicates that the town administrator would authorize the release of the guarantee after proper inspections and recommendations from the proper inspectors. The board members did not think the board member did not think the administrator should be the one releasing the bond, letter of credit, etc. He believes the select board should be the one to handle those funds. He was citing the charter on this matter. As I read the charter, the town administrator is the town treasurer among other duties. Is it appropriate, based on the job description within the charter, to allow the town administrator handle these funds as part of his daily responsibility, or should the select board be acting on this? Natalie's response is, this is not something that is expressly discussed under the charter as being the sole and exclusive authority of the Select Board. Although the Select Board does have broad authority under Section 304.c of the charter, the Board, by ordinance, may assign additional functions or duties to officers, departments, or agencies established by this charter, but may not discontinue or assign to any office, department, or agency any function or duty assigned by this charter to a particular office, department, or agency. This ordinance would fall within the provisions, and so the town administrator can be authorized by ordinance to release the funds. As you know, this is fairly typical practice among municipalities with managers or administrators. So there was clear follow-up regarding that particular issue and guidance given to us as to how we could handle it. And that was discussed with the planning board, and the board chose to continue to go with the process that's in place now, as proposed or as written for this new draft, giving that process over to the town administrator after proper inspections by whether it's an independent inspector or it's the code enforcement officer who's satisfied that the work was completed appropriately, and then the administrator could release those funds. That releases the board as a whole from having to act on another action in front of you in order to get that done.
And for the folks at home, what we're talking about is, say someone's building a subdivision, we require them to post a bond to ensure that they'll complete the roads and the infrastructure. Say it could be $200,000. That money's not held by the town, it's held by a third party. And what we do is authorize the release of that money once an engineer has said that that work has been completed. So we don't actually handle the money, we authorize the release.
There's usually not even money involved in it. It's a letter of credit from an insurance company that says the developer has the ability to pay if anything goes wrong, and if anything goes right, then all you're doing is saying, okay, we're going to release that letter of credit back to the developer, and the insurance company does not have to be responsible to pick up any of the fees for that work. That's basically what that requires. It's not that there's a stack of cash or any other kind of monetary exchange that occurs, especially with a letter of credit. It's merely someone like an insurance company or a bank saying they have the ability to make that payment if it's needed. So if something goes wrong out there, the inspector and then the town administrator would call that bond, letter of credit, whatever it may be, that instrument in, and say it's going to cost the town $100,000 to fix the road that you didn't build correctly. Otherwise, at the end of the process, it's just releasing that letter back so the insurance company knows, okay, we're off the hook, we don't have to do anything. The developer says, okay, I'm off the hook, I did what I needed to do.
Realistically, the town shouldn't even be involved in it.
Well, the only reason the town is because if it's going to be a public road.
The only time the town's going to get involved is if we put that to the townspeople and they accept the road.
Correct.
Before that goes to the townspeople, that road should be all built, and somebody should have signed off on that.
That's exactly right.
Or they could bail out, the builder could bail out, and we end up finishing it, which has happened before too.
We very seldom, we got one on the West Road that we finished over years and years, but it took 25 years to ever become a town road.
And you are correct. I mean, it's the only time, it's only if the road is proposed to be a public piece of infrastructure and you want to make sure it gets constructed properly before the townspeople accept it.
Yep. Gary, did you have something?
For either Tim or EJ, who determines what's in the performance guarantee and what that dollar amount is?
The developer would provide a list of construction items that were done, whether it's putting in gravel, sub-base, base, curbing. It would be the whole litany of items that are needed to construct that street and it would be listed and the dollar amounts required, so then at the bottom of that, it says it's going to cost, $150,000, $200,000 to construct it based on the materials.
And how much involvement does the town administrator, whoever they are, have in the creation of that list?
Zero. That's up to the engineer that's working on behalf of the developer.
And the town review also, if we wanted to
Yes.
have an engineer work for us.
If we wanted an engineer, third party, at the developer's expense to review that, or I can review it.
DPW could also see that.
DPW, there are a number of personnel that would be capable of reviewing that to make sure that the money that needs to be set aside or the letter of credit set aside would be set aside.
And town managers are not engineers, so before a town manager would sign off on a performance guarantee, describe the process leading up to that in terms of the job being done.
If the road is done and they're ready to put it forth to the town for acceptance, then they would send a letter to the town, whether it's the administrator or the code enforcement officer, and say we're ready for acceptance, and then the town engineer, public works, whoever it may be assigned, would go out and do an inspection. If the road was built and there was no third-party inspector, we might request corings be done, core borings be done in the center of the road to make sure that the pavement thicknesses are matched. There's a whole litany of things that would be done to make sure that that road was constructed appropriately.
There would be poor management on the contractor, that he didn't have each step done, inspected, because core boring is very expensive, and it's
Correct.
a waste of money when you get all said and done if you've done it correctly.
Correct. That would not be at the town's expense, though.
Right.
Yes.
Just one more elaboration.
Sure.
For the folks back home, I want them to understand, no town manager or town administrator handles this in a cash sense.
No.
Not even probably the check.
No.
It's handled by others.
It's a release.
It would actually go straight to the treasurer, town treasurer, and it would be, put in whatever security box or vault that you have for safekeeping until such time as it needs to be released.
Or we never see the check here at all, and it's a letter from a bank that we could draw upon
Correct.
if we had to.
Correct.
Want to wrap it up?
Sure. I want to thank you all for this. There's a difference between signing off on the release and releasing the money. That's two different subjects. We have a board of selectmen to run primary in this town. I just don't think whether it's not cash, it's not this, it's not the other thing, but we're talking about releasing people of an obligation for a quality build, and it's hundreds of thousands of dollars. I believe that should stay in the hands of the board of selectmen as it is in the current ordinance. No matter how you look at it, we should not release that. Also, if you read the clause, it starts off with all of this stuff has to be done by licensed state engineers, foresters, everybody's licensed by the state. In the end, they're not. It's or other qualified personnel. It doesn't say anything about somebody with a license going out there taking a look at this project and saying, okay, it's fine. I'm just saying it's not that big of a deal for the board of selectmen to look at the paperwork and make a decision, and then the town administrator can release the money. That's a good process. It was well written. I gotta say this, I have been all over our town charter for years now, all over our ordinances. The people that put this stuff together did a very good job. And I noticed one common theme. They are specifically written to protect us as a community. I don't see any need to be making a drastic change, which is really what this is. When you take the planning board out of economic development, which is really what it's doing, so we're going to go there, we're going to say, yeah, okay, build it, and then that's all we have to do with it. We don't see any paperwork coming back. We don't have any chance to go, well, wait a minute, maybe we should get a second opinion. And the board of selectmen is now being taken out of it. This is a serious, drastic change to our ordinance. This is not cleanup. This is changing the way we govern our town.
It's funny you should say that, because I remember some of the other members. See, the selectmen meet twice a month. So someone who's waiting for a release of those funds, that's their two chances. This is business friendly. I mean, this could happen any day of the week.
We just had an application come through, very well done. The code enforcement officer can be quoted as saying, very well done. Somebody caught up to me in the community and wanted to know why it took 6 months. from first contact to the planning board desk.
Are we
So if you
talking
want to be
about-
business friendly, perhaps we should look at our process.
Let's talk about the subdivision ordinance tonight.
I'm just saying, no, you brought up, we're trying to be
But
business
that
friendly.
was about the subdivision ordinance.
Well, even-
That's why they went with that, having the town administrator release those funds, instead of waiting 2 weeks for the next meeting of the
And what I'm
selectmen.
saying, Tim, if you're really concerned about becoming business friendly, there's much bigger problems we have that we should really deal with before we make such a substantive change to the way we govern our town. I'm asking the Board of Selectmen, keep this power within you.
Gary,
No.
you done? All right,
Thank you.
thank you. I think we can safely close this public hearing.
At 6:28,
Proposed
6:38,
amendment to
sorry.
the subdivision ordinance. Moving on, announcements, does anyone have any announcements? Hearing none, any additions or deletions to the agenda?
I do, Mr. Chairman, since the auditors did not get us new audit information, I would recommend that item 10 be deleted from this agenda and moved to the next one.
Move to the next meeting?
Yes, move to the next meeting, thank you.
We have a motion for that? Moved by Ted.
Second.
Seconded by Gordon. Any discussion? All in favor? Item 10 is moved to next, old business, moved to our next meeting. Public comments, any public comments? Hearing none. Correspondence, we have the treasurer's report, motor vehicle and excise tax report, a report and staff initiative, selectmen's report. Start with Gordon.
I don't really have nothing at this point to report, but I do have a comment, and I spoke with the town administrator about it. It's been a considerable amount of time since we've had a report from our contract deputy on things that are occurring in the town. And I think that we need to get back to that so that we have an understanding of, what's happening in the community. There's been a number of incidents of late that certainly cause, a lot of concern, especially when we have, parties in the town that are shooting at other people working in the town and shooting at houses. And I just think that we need to, sort of, have a report based on, what's been happening in town, what are the trends, and what are they doing about, some of that.
Would be a good idea. Ted?
Nothing at this time.
Wayne? Nothing from me. So, town administrators report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As we all know, we lost Clint Andrews recently, passed away at his home early on January 6th, and he'd been our transfer station manager since 2004. Visiting hours for him were last Friday, and I guess the only other thing that would be a graveside service in the spring, but I do not know if that's just family or not. But we all owe him a debt of gratitude for the things he did for the town and how he did them, the person that he was. And just to show you the character involved here, his wife wants to come to the Board of Selectmen and present Clint's transfer station budget. David and I are going to meet with her probably by the end of next week, and then if she wants to do that, I think that would be a wonderful thing. I want to talk about the Community Center Steering Committee and the Community Center idea now, and I'm going to do something that I don't usually do, and that is read right from a prepared statement, because I want the folks back home to know exactly what has happened with this committee. The Board of Selectmen formed this Community Center Steering Committee just about 2 years ago, and they've been working and meeting most every month. They visited a number of communities to look at community centers around central and southern Maine. Tim was on the committee until a month or two ago.
A couple months ago.
Gordon remains on the committee. We have library representation, Department of Recreation representation, and citizens on there as well. But they have been approved for $25,000. The voters approved $25,000 for architectural renderings, some basic concept drawings for a possible new Waterboro Community Center. 19 architectural firms were interested, and 8 firms submitted proposals. 2 of those firms were interviewed by the committee in December. The committee voted 5 to 0 to 1 one abstention, to hire Scott Simons Architects from Portland for this not to exceed $25,000 project. This design project will help inform voters whether or not we should build a new community center that could consist of a new library, basketball gym with 2 basketball courts. This committee is thinking big here. Recreation program space for staffing and programs, and a multi-purpose space for our polling place so we have a proper place to vote with adequate parking, and all manner of community meetings and suppers. It'll be designed so that you can rent it out for any private function you want, and that would be a fine thing to generate some revenue. Once these concept drawings are completed in late winter of 2020, open public meetings can then be scheduled this spring or summer for greater public input into this idea. If voters in 2021 or in the future approve the construction of this project, this committee knows darn well that a major fundraising effort involving the entire community will be necessary. This would be a very expensive project, the biggest thing that's gone on in Waterboro to date. The steering committee is well aware that millions of dollars of outside donations will be necessary to make sure that this structure is not just built with taxpayer dollars. The steering committee does not have a building site yet, but they are investigating possible locations and donations of land. The committee is looking for 10 buildable acres of land, preferably on or near Route 202 or 5, ideally close to public water. The steering committee is also in need of new members who might form the nucleus of a future building committee if this idea is approved by the voters to go forward. We could use people who work in construction, legal, finance, fundraising, civil engineering, surveying, or other development-related disciplines to join this community center steering committee. And the Board of Selectmen would be appointing those people, so if you are interested, you can see Sherry or myself or any Board of Selectmen member. Changing subjects here, just to inform the board, monthly staff meetings have resumed for Town Hall and other departments as well. We're going to pick the second Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. Selectmen are certainly welcome to come sit in if they wish at any time. And I wanted to talk to the board tonight, since the agenda was not very heavy, on closing Bennett Hill Road and what the selectmen think about that, whether there's any history that I might be missing during the winter months. We can save a lot of wear and tear on that road if we close that road to only snowmobiles and foot traffic or skiing through mud season. Jersey barriers are some other highly visible block at the end. We've done snow bankings, but Mother Nature took those away recently. And I'd like to know if you folks are willing to have this discussion before we go tonight. Is this a good or a bad idea to do at this time? That's it from me. Thank you.
Thank you.
If I can make one comment on his report, with respect to the $25,000 figure, merely because the town authorized the expenditure of $25,000 doesn't necessarily mean that that $25,000 will be spent in total. We're working with the firms right now to see what the committee can do to help offset some of the costs associated with that. And we've already got commitment from the firm that was chosen that they will provide the conceptual drawings and the other things that we've asked for 22.5. So we're being very, very frugal with the funds that we are being authorized to use.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, under new business, we have discuss possible vote on a request from the Waterboro Historical Society to place a permanent building on the Taylor-Frey-Leavitt House property. Would anyone like to speak to that? Or?
Well, I can't speak very much to it because we have no plans. What we're looking for is permission to go ahead to plan something. Obviously, we need a place for our materials, and we've got a lot of materials. We have extensive collections of cemetery records, social groups, the Rebecca's, the Oddfellows, all of the Grange. If you put all of the stuff together, we have enough to put into a building. Artifacts from Revolutionary War to today. that just need to be displayed, and
So you're looking for support in concept for this idea?
yes.
Probably a 30 by 40.
Words right out of my mouth.
30 by 40 or so.
I have no idea. We haven't got that. Initially, this was just to get permission to go ahead and try to plan a building. Before we would ever do anything, we would come back with the plan.
Well, you have plenty of room, so you can definitely meet your setbacks. So.
Well, what has been talked about it would be between the schoolhouse and the blacksmith shop.
Can you clear something up for me, Jim? What happened to the house that supposedly the Historical
Night house.
Society has?
We're selling it.
You're going to sell it and use the proceeds of that
Correct.
to help construct
Yes.
something on that premise?
Yes. We had talked about using that as our museum, and it's always good to try to think about that, but you're still talking about an old house that is not energy efficient, and we really need something that is climate controlled so that we don't lose this stuff.
That house needed a tremendous amount of work.
Yes, you well know.
And there's not much parking down there either.
No, there's not much parking, and it just didn't work, any more than the one next door, you know. That served us well for 25 years, but
Times change.
times change.
Thank you. Any discussion on that? How does the board feel about it in concept?
I move that we add that to the agenda for a vote.
It's already there.
It says possible
already
vote.
there, okay.
Discuss possible vote.
Oh, we
Okay.
need the motion.
I move that we authorize the Historical Society to go forward in concept so they can, come up with something that they may be able to present back at a later time. Or I would assume they probably have to go before the planning board and everything anyway, so.
Not if it meets the zoning. Should.
Be the
So,
code enforcement
It's just the
would be
code
it.
enforcement that have to pull permit on.
So we have a motion from Gordon,
I'll second this.
second from Ted. Any discussion? All those in favor? Unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you for coming.
Now, I'll give you I got to give you a history lesson, too.
Pardon me? Oh, a history lesson,
A
sure.
history lesson.
Glad to
Yes.
hear it.
This is the bicentennial of the state of Maine, and I'm sure you're all aware of the fact that we voted on July 26, 1819, to separate from Massachusetts.
Seems like yesterday.
Yeah. And, you'll be happy to know that we voted 61 for separation and 37 against. And it was at the Elder Henry Hobbs Meeting House.
Thank you.
I'm sure you already.
Which is Elder Day today.
And we have our bicentennial flag hanging on the flagpole here at Town Hall, too.
There you go.
And it has no letters or words on it either, because you don't make flags like that anymore.
You have the names of those 31 people that voted against it?
No, but they were all male, they were all over 21, and they all owned property.
That was a requirement.
That was a requirement.
Oh, so they must have all paid the poll tax back then.
Okay, next item, thank you. Discuss and vote to approve the Beano Bingo license for Lake Arrowhead Community Council.
So moved.
Moved by Dwayne,
I will second that.
seconded by Ted. Excuse me. Any discussion?
Just a comment, it's been approved, recommended by all the uppity-uppities of the town, so,
That's good.
along with the sheriff's department.
All those in favor? It's unanimous.
4-0.
Discuss, vote to appoint election ballot clerk as presented.
Did everybody get a copy?
Here's your packets.
On the packet, okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the list that was sent to us.
Motion by Dwayne to approve,
Second.
seconded by Gordon. Any discussion? Good night. All those in favor?
No.
Dwayne, in favor?
Yep.
Unanimous.
4-0.
All right, discuss possible vote to approve the amendment to the subdivision ordinance as presented tonight.
I would like to have another couple of weeks to read that.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we table this. Because of the discussion, I would like to hear from the chair of the planning board, regarding this, because there does seem to be some questions on some aspects of the ordinance, and I'm not even sure, based on what we talked about tonight, if this is in fact the final document.
It is.
And
So it's not really a tabling, it's a postponement, is that correct?
yes, I
Yes,
just
we
want
would
to postpone this.
postponing that to the
for-
next meeting,
Yeah, for some further information and clarification.
and that's motion.
That's a motion.
Do I have a second for that?
Second.
Seconded by Dwayne. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? 3-1. Thank you. 3-1-0.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
3-1-0. Oh, yes.
Under old business, we have deleted audit from our agenda. Discuss a vote to approve the minutes of the December 10th, 2019 regular meeting.
We want to bring under old business, the barricades on the Bennett Hill Road.
Want to add that to it? Can we do that?
You can do anything you want.
I would make a motion to, under old business, bring up the Bennett Hill barricades.
Do we have a second?
The barricades or closure of the road?
We're
Both.
going to close it with the barricades, and the barricades are my concern.
Is your motion just to add it to the agenda?
Yes. Yeah.
To,
Under old business.
11B.
Thank you.
Any second?
I'll second it.
Ted seconds. Any discussion? All in favor? That's been added to the agenda.
I do not want to see barricades used, not concrete barricades, because I think that puts the town into a lawsuit.
How about the closure, though, the idea of it?
If we close it with mud closure signs like we have in the past, or like some of the other towns do, Class A barricades so that they can be seen daylight, dark, other weather, they're cheaper than concrete barricades, but whether we have to mount them in something to hold them so that people don't steal them is another question, but
Traditional roadside barricades,
I'm
Public
talking
works.
plastic barricades, 8 foot wide, 2 of them across the road with road closure signs, another sign back, 500 feet, road closed, mud season. I don't have a problem with, but snowmobiles, ATVs, you've got a piece of land down there that's owned by the land trust that's being used for snowshoeing, whatever. They need to be able to get down in there. We don't have an adequate parking at the turnaround for the snowplow so that they can park. And if you close that off completely, you're going to create a road hazard. The other thing that I would not close is till you get up to the power line. In there, put your road closed sign at the end of the road and then put the barricades the other side of the power line.
So they can take that.
They can
turn.
take the power line in that plowed in area where they've got, can unload the snowmobiles and whatnot. If not, you're gonna have the snowmobiles out on Deering's Ridge, the trailers and whatnot, and then you got a road hazard there too.
Does the fire department have equipment, so if, for whatever reason, from either end of that Bennett Hill Road, they could park a truck and then take the ATV that they have with the tracks on it and that to get in there to drag somebody out of there if need be?
I wouldn't dare tell you.
Yeah, as long as you can get a snow sled in there, I mean.
The other thing is, with the winters that we've had in the past, we've got 2 backhoes, and we could take those in a half an hour and get down in there a mile or a half a mile so that we could get the ambulance. Or we've got equipment enough sitting here in town so that we can break that road open if we had to.
The stuff right at the transfer station.
And it's right there at the transfer station, so.
What are we talking about as far as time though, reaction time? If somebody's in there hurt,
I mean, we don't plow that during the winter anyway. Someone does, but it's not us.
They've got a snowmobile and a sled, I believe, at the fire station.
okay.
No, we got rid of that.
Oh, you did?
We have the ATV that has the tracks that go
ATV
on.
with the tracks, that's
Right.
right. We went to an all-terrain,
Yeah.
year-round vehicle, but we can get down in there, but the backhoe's sitting right there so that the snowbank could be removed too, you know, in a short time, so.
If there was an accident, the ATV would respond much faster, get down in there. It comes with a stretcher, as you've seen,
Yeah.
and pull them out in that way. You wouldn't have to clear the road unless there was some reason you needed to.
Okay.
I'm happy
I'd
to,
like to stipulate further, regarding, the barricades. I don't want to see any type of cabling going across there because I think that those are inherently dangerous, particularly to snowmobilers and ATV operators.
That's why I'm saying these concrete barriers could be a hazard.
Yeah.
And if we put them out, then we're liable
well,
without proper
we'll bring
sign.
this back in 2 weeks and chew it over some more.
No,
Okay.
I agree with Dwayne there. There's never been a barrier there, and people are so used to just buzzing down that road that even people from out of state go up there that don't know that we're talking about this.
well, you got landowners up in there, and if they want to go up in and cut timber or go up and cut some firewood, you can't really block that road off because they're paying tax, and
We'd have to
Yeah.
open it up for them, yes.
and these plastic barricades can be picked up and moved. If somebody wants to go up in there with a tractor or a pair of horses or whatever they want to go up in, log with, or a skidder, they can knock the snowbank over. But,
Well, somebody on Bennett Hill Road, I guess, is plowing it now because they want to.
yeah.
And I don't know what we're going to have to do to stop that. If the barricades do it, that's fine.
I read here somewhere on question of abandonment, but it's no longer an abandoned road because we put thousands and thousands of dollars into it. We've got
Freddie
thousands
fixed
of
it.
dollars to set up there and put a ditch in because we built the road running the water down the road. We ain't got no ditch down through there, which was stupid in my mind, but that's,
Oh, we grade it every year.
well, if you put a ditch down through there, when we grubbed the trees and whatnot, and we had the excavator there should have been a little bit of a ditch run down through there, not run it right down the road. That's just common sense.
There's a stream bed.
Oh, past the brook going
Yeah,
towards there.
using it for a stream bed is right, Tim. And that's nothing but cost to the town, because every year we keep hauling gravel up there, and if you had a ditch, it would take care of the water. If I built a driveway like that, I'd be bankrupt.
So do we need a vote on this or anything, or just discussion?
I want to talk with David. He couldn't be here tonight. He's sick too. So,
We can always bring it back.
I think we can vote to do it and then, leave the details up to the town administrator and
that's fine.
and the director to, to see.
We'll come back in 2 weeks to
Yeah.
let you know.
So I'd make a motion that we post the road and it's closed for mud season or whatever, and direct the town administrator to work with the director of DPW for appropriate signage
But do not use Jersey barriers or cable.
or cables.
To do it right, I believe you gotta have 3 signs. 1,000 feet, 500 feet, and road closed.
We can find that out at our next meeting. Do you have a second for Gordon's?
It don't need to come back, in my mind, it don't need to come back
Just
to
do
us, just, it can be done. But we don't want, I don't want to see concrete barriers in the road.
Yeah, I don't think that's necessary.
Or cables?
Well, we'll let you know what we did or are going to do, so.
Do we have a second for Gordon's motion?
Yes.
Second for Ted. Any discussion? All those in favor? Unanimous.
Okay, thank you.
Pending decisions, road entrance appeal board appointees. Do we have volunteers? Yes, Sharon.
I didn't get any vote or anything on the minutes.
Yeah, gotta do the minutes.
Yeah, minutes.
Number 11.
I'm sorry, I thought we did.
You get that in the stuff.
Discuss, vote, that's right. Discuss the vote to approve the minutes of December 10th, 2019.
So moved.
Moved by Dwayne,
Second,
second by Gordon. Any discussion? All those in favor? Ted wasn't here.
I wasn't there.
3 approve, 1 0.
You up on that, Dwayne?
Yep.
301.
Road entrance appeal board appointees. Do we have applications?
You gotta have one from the road review, and they got a meeting coming up, I just see it.
24th, 28th?
It's on a Tuesday night.
28.
It's our meeting night.
28.
Is that something they're going to discuss at their meeting?
I don't know. Is 28 a selectmen's meeting?
Yes. Yep,
So they're gonna meet at the same time?
evidently.
We're going to be
That
upstairs.
that was, huh?
They'll be upstairs in the building.
It's awful hard for a liaison to go to 2 meetings. His legs don't stretch that far.
Busy that night. So that's still pending then. There isn't anyone to appoint.
I will sit on that board, but I'll probably be the,
I'd like to raise a budgetary concern over here. There's a recent law passed that's going to require the code enforcement officer of each municipality to inspect the septic system of every house that's going, that's going to transfer ownership,
Really?
really. So it's going to cost us some more money. I don't know how we're going to.
I wonder what level of inspection that is. I mean, do you actually dig it up and test it, or?
We may be farming that out. I'm not sure who has to pay for that. I assume it's the seller.
I think so.
Don't know.
One of the two, the seller or the buyer.
Private sector may be doing that, for us.
I mean, a lot of times that's a part of a home inspection is to inspect the septic system, but.
Yeah, there's
the
certain.
only way they're gonna do it and do it properly is with a camera.
Yep.
There's one caveat to that. If I guess they say that if they'll sign an affidavit, the homeowner or whatever, that they're going to be putting in a new septic system within 1 year of the purchase of the dwelling. It was all spelled out, so. but
That's
it's
something
gonna-
that the legislature just passed, a VEP.
Legislature.
Not
Just
an
left.
unfunded mandate.
So it is going to be, there's going to be an expense incurred by a municipality, so.
I don't see us
With the
picking
code
it up.
enforcement officer, because it specifically says code enforcement officer is going to go out and do it, so.
Yeah, well, they don't have the equipment to do that, but I would hope that the payment for that would be maybe part of, I don't know, it's not part of your septic permit because there's no permit there. We'll have to find that out.
I mean, if it was part of the home inspection, then the CEO could review that information.
Yeah.
I mean, that would pretty much be the same thing, but.
Didn't specify,
Realistically, it says that the code enforcement needs a Class D survey. That don't mean that he's gonna do it. It means that somebody else is gonna do it, and they're gonna give him a stamped piece of paper saying that that's legal.
Same with the foundation location.
Was that passed at the last session
yeah, it was in the Portland Press Herald.
recently?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll get the bill out and see where that stands.
So week's action list, Discussion of agenda items, we've already put, so you'd like to see the chairman of the planning board in to talk about the proposed subdivision ordinance. We don't need to bring back Bennett Hill Road. Anyone else have any additions they'd like to make?
Bring in one of the deputies or something for a review.
I got a question on voting. I started a war out here yesterday, but that's all right. I know how they feel. But why can't we use the fire station?
If you want to move your fire department and fire station somewhere else for the day,
What's wrong with that?
well, there's not enough parking there for what we have, depending on which election it is.
But we got a building that's big enough. If we run them in the back door, the fire door, and run them down the hallway and into the fire station, and run them out the door there, after listening to the girls and what they need,
Yep.
that half of that center station with some cardboard walls or something, a curtain across there, which is very inexpensive. We got room enough to use half of that station, and we can bring that equipment over here and turn this office right into the fire station for the day.
Yeah, you would not be able to have any of your fire department personnel walking through the voting area, according to the Secretary of
That's what
State's
I'm,
wishes.
that's why I'm saying bring them all over here for the day. They've got command radios in their vehicles. They, I'm sure, got something that they can bring in here and set up. One of the ambulances can go down South Waterboro Station. They got the radios down there. You got an ambulance there and one here, and whatever you want to do with the trucks, you're only going to take half of them out. The two ambulances would be the two that you're going to take out, plus a couple other vehicles.
Boy, I don't know. If you're going to have people walking in there to get vehicles, the ladies out front are going to have real indigestion with that. So you should take everything out, I think.
Well, you've got that lawn that we've just put in next to Jim's Getty.
Yeah.
2 or 3 of the ladder truck, and you've got some other stuff that just sits there. You don't use through the summer or fall. It's winter equipment or summer equipment. In case of emergency, you could get it out through the fire door to Jim's Getty. But that is a possibility there without a lot of expense.
We actually have more parking here now than we do over there.
Right.
Have we heard from the school yet?
Well, I had a conversation just a little while ago. Business manager was trying to get a hold of me. There's no decision yet, but we're not alone, and other communities throughout the county and the state are looking to have some accommodation for November election. So it'll be a full decision by the end of February from the school department. I think that's when they set their schedule. But there's a possibility that the vocational school in Sanford, if they close, that makes it a whole lot easier to close the high school. It'll be a workshop day for those teachers, but there'll be no students, which would mean possibly we could use the M.R.S.A East.
But
That's all very preliminary. No decisions have been made. So,
but if that doesn't work out, we're going to need a plan B and probably a plan C, and that's when we'd be looking at
This is
stuff
where
like
my
this.
plan B comes in,
Yeah.
because we do have a building that,
We're gonna need
yes,
something.
we're gonna put part of our, as far as I'm concerned, they could move it all down to the salt shed.
the fire equipment.
Yes, for the day.
Well, the other thing, as far as parking over there, I mean, if you're standing with your back to the central fire station, looking at, for the sake of talking, Jimmy's property across the street, right there on the far side of John Smith Road, if you clean that out from one end to the other, you could put parking the whole length of that thing.
If you use that whole field, then you probably have more spaces in here. Right now, we've got about
I'm not saying Jim's Field, I'm just saying right that,
The length of the
15
road.
feet in off the edge of the road, put parking so that they're parked this way. The whole length from Route 5 all the way over to Old Alfred Road. You probably get 60 or 70 cars in there.
At an angle.
Even if you put them straight in.
And
With
60
supervision.
So you're gonna
60
get-
or 70 accidents when the people jockeying to get out and get in.
Look what they did at
But your
Quaint's Way.
handicap parking would be right up against the building.
Yeah.
This is November, so we should not be dealing with snow.
Right.
The rink would not
Or
be there.
mud.
But you have to pick your fire department up and move them somewhere else for the day. And I think we all know how that'll go over, so. But,
Well, we may have to do
I
something
was gonna say,
drastic.
we may be the boss.
yeah,
They may just wanna, if not,
Field trip.
Hopefully, we won't need to do it, but you never know.
yeah, stay tuned, because no decisions have been made, but they've heard us, and they're working towards some kind of a solution, so.
one of them ambulances should stay right there with the volume of people that we're gonna have, so.
And the people that need to be there with the ambulance can stay in the offices.
That's right.
More to follow.
Yes.
So, for our next agenda, we'll be looking at possibly having the contract deputy in,
We'll try
chairman
and,
of the planning board.
try and get Kevin in, since that's his shift, second shift.
It would be good to try to get as many members of the planning board as we could.
I understand that concerns can be raised at a public hearing, but you folks all saw how I tried to get those concerns in writing for your benefit. And you saw what happened tonight, which is no surprise to me. I'm very disappointed in that, because it's without documentation, it's last minute, and it's unsubstantiated in terms of what went on in the planning board, in my opinion. We'll have Mr. Christensen here next week, if possible, and go from there.
You know, that's already been decided, so we'll leave it at that.
I'm kind of upset with the planning board here tonight because we had one member. They worked on this for 6 or 8 months, a year and a half, and not a one of them
I think it would have
came
been
to,
better attendance.
to present their ordinance that they want the selectmen to bless.
That's what Lee J. was here for, to answer any questions.
It couldn't have hurt.
I've never seen a public hearing with the selectmen when I was on the planning board that I didn't make sure I went, and everybody, that we always had 3 to 5 members there.
Or maybe at our next meeting, we'll get a better turnout. So items that need signature: minutes, December 10th, Lake Arrowhead, Beano application, and ballot clerk nomination sheet.
Make a motion to adjourn.
No, I don't care. I'd grab another one.
Motion to adjourn, do we have a second?
What's that kind of?
Second by Ted. Any discussion? All in favor?
We're adjourned at
I can't
7:16.
sign that.